Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. So this is a reading about peanut butter and jelly. Now, before peanut butter and jelly became the pair that we know them to be today, we must look at the history of them because that is relative to the reading. Now, peanut butter and jelly only became known as a great pairing on paper, publicly, in 1901, and that was by way of the Boston Cooking School magazine, okay? Now, prior to this, peanut butter, we're going to start talking about the peanut butter. Prior to 1901, peanut butter was starting to become more popular, right? And it was due to the 1893 World Fair in Chicago. Now, jelly is sweet. Prior to being paired with jelly, peanut butter was known to be partnered with savory foods. When we're talking about savory, we're talking about foods that are salty, spicy, or tangy, right? And so before peanut butter was mixed with jelly, it was mixed with cheese, pimento, celery, Worcestershire sauce, help me with that one, watercress, saltines, and toasted crackers, okay? Now, 1901, peanut butter meets jelly. This is a reading about he who does not know. Now, let's imagine that peanut butter is a person, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about the characteristics of peanuts. Now, peanuts represent strength and resilience. Why so? Well, peanuts have a tough outer shell, right? Which means that they have the ability to thrive in various environments, right? Which means when challenges come, peanuts can seek the path of perseverance or adversity. This is the energy of a king of swords. When we say he who does not know, that's kind of odd for a king of swords because the king of swords rules the mind, rules the intellect. The king of swords is not male or female. We are talking about an energy that somebody possesses. When we're talking about being king, we are talking about being ruler, having dominion. Well, there are four kings. The king of cups, who has dominion over the emotions. There's the king of pentacles, who has the king over earthly treasures. There's the king of wands, who has dominion over energy, power, momentum, passion, thrill. Lastly, this reading highlights the king of swords, who has dominion over the mental space. That means between the ears is the realm of the king of swords. Yes? Now, the king of swords is cerebral, okay? Let's break down the characteristics. The king of swords is going to be somebody who's mature. Because in order to be intellectual, in order to make decisions that people trust, in order for people to see you as a person who is just. Why? Because you look at facts. The king of swords is very balanced in their approach, right? The king of swords is also strong-willed. When you know what you know, you don't waver. You don't rock away from it. You stand on it no matter what, right? Because truth is fluid. It will go through every time, every period, every culture. It works. It just works. That's what the king of swords likes to keep in their pocket. Truth. That's the greatest tool, right? Now, at times, the king of swords, when not operating upright, can be ruthless, can be judgmental, okay? But the intellectual power, the analytical power, listen, the king of swords may very well have the mind of a calculator. Yes, Now, whether they're crunching numbers or whatever their realm of expertise, the way that they can move from thought, the way that they can see behind, beside, in front of, right into the future. This is the King of Swords. So for this reading to talk about he, now when I say he, it doesn't have to be a masculine, but we're talking about masculine energy. Okay? A ruler. He who does not know. Can you imagine a ruler who doesn't know something, who doesn't have knowledge of something? Now this ruler is a peanut. Okay, this ruler is strong and resilient. This ruler has a tough outer shell, and this ruler has thrived in various environments. Now, peanut butter, was linked up with savory foods. Okay, so I want you to imagine at some point, peanut butter meets jelly. The first exchange did not go like the ending that we all know very well today, okay? Now, when peanut butter met jelly, the form of jelly, peanut butter didn't understand. Like, why can I see through you? Why are you slippery? Why do you stick like that? Like, why can't you stay in one spot? We talked about the King of Swords, aka peanuts, being strong and resilient, being tough. Jelly don't really look tough, right? It looks like it'll just move everywhere. It sticks to everything. It looks like it's sloppy, okay? Now, jelly is also not savory. Jelly is sweet. So in terms of companionship and partnership, up until this point, peanut butter had not been paired with anything sweet. Now in this reading, jelly is the Empress energy. What do we know about the Empress? The Empress is kind and loving. Now, something unique to the Empress in this reading is that this Empress is also a member of the family of light. What does that mean? That means that this Empress is carrying light codes, okay? This Empress is an expert. When I say expert, I mean that the way this Empress lives life, the way she does self, right? What does she do best? She goes into systems. When I say systems, I mean families, I mean jobs, I mean structures, I mean homes, I mean any fragment of society. The Empress energy that carries the light codes can go into any system and reconstruct the reality. How is it possible that she can reconstruct reality? Because of the codes that she is carrying. This is what she does. The Empress is jelly. Now, the King of Swords is peanut butter. The Empress is sweet now. That means the Empress is sugary and pleasant, right? Now, when you first look at jelly, it looks like it has no backbone. It looks like it's too sweet for its own good, right? It looks like it needs to pull back a little bit. And that's kind of how the King of Swords, peanut butter, was looking at jelly at first, okay? Now, he who does not know. Why is this called he who does not know? Because the King of Swords, when meeting jelly, was meeting a learning moment. The King of Swords, up until this point, lacked knowledge, and it was in the meeting of jelly that something new would be formed. Think of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Can you imagine if peanut butter never learned the value, the beauty, in the sweetness of jelly? Now let's talk about how jelly becomes jelly. Empress, I'm talking to you. How do we get to jelly? Let's talk about the levels to your jelly. So before jelly is jelly, it is first fruit juice, right? And so jelly is made from strained fruit juice, which means that you must remove any solid fruit pieces. What does it mean to be strained? That means that you must be worn and torn. So when you look at jelly, it looks loose and sloppy, right? But you didn't understand how the jelly became the jelly, though, right? When we're talking about removing solid pieces, that means all things that were harsh, all impurities, all those bones had to be spit out. And in order to spit out the harshness and the impurities, right, those hard pieces of the life of the Empress, you had to be strained, worn, and torn until you get to juice, until you can just flow, until you reach purity. But then we're not done, though, because fruit juice isn't jelly yet. Then we get to the pectin. Now, pectin is the key ingredient that allows the juice to set. Now think about when somebody says, I'm set to do something. That means they're ready. That means they're ready. So what is the fruit juice getting ready for? There are levels to the jelly. So imagine that once all of your impurities and harshness and obstacles have been removed and you are finally flowing in the divine energy essence, the Most High adds a key ingredient and you are finally ready to set. You're finally ready to do something. Also consider this version of set. When we think of a set, we're thinking of a group of something, things that belong together. If I have a set of mugs or a set of bowls, possibly I may have 4 of the same, but when together they complete. So I want you to think that when the Most High adds the pectin, the key ingredient that gets the Empress to be ready to do something, you almost become complete. All parts of you can finally come together. All parts of you that belong together. Because when you were being strained and worn and torn, anything that didn't belong in your energy was really being removed. Imagine squeezing a rag. That's what it's like to be worn and torn. Getting rid of anything that leaves substance or residue, right? To be dry, you want to get to the point where there's no remnants of liquid. Worn and torn. Now, we're not done yet, though. Once you are set, Empress, right? So you get the pectin, you set. Now you become gel. What does that mean? It means that you've trapped your liquid. As you cool down, you trapped your liquid. That means you can control your emotions. You're no longer leaking, right? That means your vessel. You were in full command of your divine waters, your maternal waters, right? Your cosmic waters, your galactic waters, your womb. When you trap your liquid as you cool, when I think of cooling, I feel like you're finally reaching the temperature. You're finally reaching the temperature where you can become firm, where you can become spreadable, where the Most High can use you. It's like you've become set in the shape, in the way where the Most High is like, yes, now I can spread you, not on one sandwich, but on thousands, right? We're not done yet. That was just pectin. Then we got the sugar. Now, sugar is sweet. So when you get to the gel, now you got to make that gel palatable. Now you have to make it agreeable with the tongue. You have to make it taste good. So here comes the sugar. But listen, all things must be in balance. So what does sugar need to cut it? It needs acid. Acid is essentially the chemical that neutralizes. It's sour and bitter. So it's good to be sweet, but sometimes you got to pull back because too much is too much, right? So what I'm saying is that there are levels to your jelly, Empress. And upon first looking at you, he did not know. He who does not know was the King of Swords, the one who knows all. This is a reading of judgment. This is like when the sun finally comes out and everything that was unknown and unseen about this jelly, this Empress, will finally be made clear. So the sun card is what rules Leo. Leo could be significant. August could be significant. But this is about the strength in the heart of a lion. Listen, when you get information, when you are illuminated, when your consciousness is blown back, you got to be strong to stand in that level of awareness, right? Because your outer vision is forever changing. Illumination will make, listen, once you see, you can't unsee. So your ego must be in check because you can't turn away from the sun once it shows you. So imagine the King of Swords that didn't know is about to know something. So can you imagine the humility that you must have to accept the awareness that is coming? Now, I want to say something about the sun. It transits every month. So maybe this is an event that is happening within a month, or it has already taken place, or it is in the next sun. It is in the next cycle of the sun, wherever the sun becomes new next. Okay? Here it is. When the King of Swords sees the sun, the King of Swords sees jackpot, fortune, reward. All of a sudden, the King of Swords looks at Jelly and like, yo, you are luck. You are a gift, right? All of that savory. Can you imagine eating peanut butter and watercress and pimento cheese? Like, celery is cool to a certain extent, but I can smash several peanut butter and jelly sandwiches if I were put up to the test. But I can never imagine myself really enjoying the taste of peanut butter and Worcestershire sauce. Help me with that, right? And so peanut butter and jelly, this is the moment when the King of Swords is like, yo, your jelly. This is when the King of Swords is like, yo, I misjudged you. I misjudged you. There are levels to your jelly. In order for you to, I didn't understand your shape. I didn't understand your form. I didn't understand your ingredients or your process. I didn't understand what made you palatable. This is judgment. Let's talk about judgment. Judgment is answering the call. Once you see, you can't unsee. When the King of Swords sees the Empress as the jelly to the peanut butter that they possess, they recognize that this is a courtship. This is a courtship, a meeting, a collaboration, a union. It is something significant, but it is jackpot, it is fortune, it is reward. Real quick judgment. Y'all, I will only be Tennille one time. But I have said, and y'all know, because it is true for you, it is possible to live many lives in one life. Why is that? Our life is a garden. Now, sometimes we ain't growing nothing because what we have sown ain't worth a damn. And so when you're not growing, when your soil isn't producing, when what you've sown is not providing a harvest, sometimes you got to dig in the soil and be like, what did I put down there? That's judgment, answering the call. It's like, all right, cool, fine, you're right. This ain't panning out. This ain't working, fine. And here comes the sun. Finally, you see the sun. When you see the sun, all the BS that you put in that soil. So listen, if the King of Swords, he who does not know, had to learn something, had to acquire a knowledge that was not in their possession, there again, that's ego. You have to be willing to uproot any BS you were sowing as it relates to jelly, aka the Empress. Now, this is what's happening between peanut butter and jelly. But in the background of this meeting, there is a community that is concerned about the path of an Empress. Why? Because this Empress, jelly, is about to walk into a potential alliance. The Empress is walking into peanut butter, and he who does not know will soon know. Now here's the thing, the trick of the devil. You always know Satan's here. Stop playing, right? So one of Satan's most common baits is offense. Why? When you are offended, you have to carry something. And when you carry an offense, you can't carry a dream. So when you are walking on your divine path, you should be carrying your dreams. The dreams that the Most High gives you while you're asleep, but also the dreams that you create while you're awake. Anything you consciously see or experience is something that you are physically able to manifest. You want to be carrying dreams, not offenses. Offenses are heavy, and if you sow offenses in your garden, you will have no harvest. So what does Satan want us to do? Satan wants us to sow offenses so that we do not get our divine harvest. So in the connection between peanut butter and jelly, because peanut butter may have misinterpreted the levels of jelly, the levels of the Empress. Peanut butter may have offended the Empress. Or peanut butter could have just been offended that the Empress would ever have thought that she would have been a palatable or agreeable companion to peanut butter. Peanut butter was low-key luxury. Although it was being paired with a whole bunch of nasty stuff, it was low-key a luxury item. And so imagine the heirs of peanut butter when it meets jelly, not really understanding the process of how jelly became jelly. This is when you meet the Empress and you don't recognize the Empress as the Empress. Anybody can be carrying the energy of the divine feminine Empress, right? So there is a community that somehow knows what this King of Swords did not know. They already had knowledge. They already learned about what happens when these two come together. They've seen it. We'll call this occult knowledge. They've seen. They have wisdom. They know what happens when these two come together. The world. Lunch forever changes for hungover moms, right? Listen, I scrolled through and I wanted to find fun facts about peanut butter and jelly. So I found an article. I didn't take all 12, but based on a BuzzFeed poll. So some of this shit ain't true, but do with it what you will and talk amongst yourselves. Apparently, a peanut butter jelly sandwich is more nutritious than a single grape. The classic drink pairing to the peanut butter jelly sandwich is Jägermeister. The number one munch for kids is peanut butter and jelly per a Drunk Mom poll. If you placed a Ziploc bag, listen, if you put a peanut butter and jelly in a Ziploc bag and close it for an entire day, it will be inedible. Yeah, inedible. Lastly, last fact, 90% of vegan diets are peanut butter and jelly. Can you imagine that none of those facts, true or not, would have existed if the pairing of peanut butter and jelly had not come together? So there is a community that is dreading the alliance. And so the community, who is the hands and feet of Satan, creates scenarios where offenses will be carried so that the two cannot carry the dreams. If the peanut butter is carrying a dream of a pairing, right? If the peanut butter is longing for a pairing, and if jelly is longing for a pairing, then when they meet, their vibration will bring them together. And can you imagine what comes next? They don't know that though. We do, because we're already living in them. We're living in them. We love them. We eat this, right? The community knows this. So this is before, this is in 1901, before they became together. This is what was happening, y'all. Okay? Now, This King of Swords has had a moment to kind of live and learn through experiences, right? The kindness of this Empress, right? The Empress, the light codes that the Empress carries sometimes will come out as kindness. It will come out as being loving, right? And so the kindness of the Empress, aka the light codes of the Empress, it triggers peanut butter into activating, into recognizing the potential of their pairing, of their meeting, of their courtship, their collaboration, their union. Now, whatever this King of Swords used to be, all of a sudden it expands. Listen, peanut butter and cheese, trash. Peanut butter and pimento, double trash. Peanut butter and watercress, forget about it. But peanut butter and jelly, right? The community in this reading, this is relative to Dante's Inferno. The community in this reading was described as the seventh circle. These are the hands and feet of Satan. These are the ones that move to sow offenses in the lives of peanut butter and jelly so that they don't carry their dream. If peanut butter is carrying a dream of a divine pairing, and if jelly is carrying a dream of a divine pairing, they will divinely meet because it is fate. It is already written. And so really only Satan can do is distract, delay, or slow down. And so think about the minions of the seventh circle. Those are the murderers, the thugs, the blasphemes, the sodomites, those that choose violence. In this reading, literally the card says they can't win. That is describing the community of the seventh circle. Their plans have failed. Why? Because peanut butter met jelly, right? And so the seventh circle, this community of blasphemes, is in the Five of Cups. They're grieving because all of their plans, listen, there could have been 3 significant hits. Think about what the Five of Cups looks like. It's a man down on his knees looking at 3 cups that are spilt over. And behind those 3 are 2. Peanut butter and jelly are behind the seventh circle. In front of the seventh circle were whatever the 3 attacks, the 3 targets, the 3 plans, the 3 ops, right? So listen, instead of peanut butter, they could have been sending jelly, the Empress. They could have sent you shea butter. They could have sent you nut butter. They could have sent you palm butter, right? And Empress, can you imagine pairing yourself with any of that? And can you imagine being offended at the experience of being paired with something that divinely is not fated? So Satan wants you to be so wrong in your pairings that you carry an offense that you will never carry a dream of meeting your peanut butter, your divine partner. This is our reading. Fate has already recorded this alliance. It was already written. And so the grief, the regret, the remorse, that is not an energy that is being carried by peanut butter or jelly. That is the community of the seventh circle. Again, the murderers, thugs, blasphemes, sodomites, the violent, those that can't win, those that fail continuously. I fucking love you. I'll see you on the next one.